Hey, so I got a haircut. Close my door. So I stopped my video. Got it uploaded. So I took a break, had to come back. Let's look at one more thing. It won't take as long. This is a paper written by Scott Farrow, who was the editor of the Journal of Benefit Cost Analysis for a while. So he wrote this short piece, published in what's called The Economist's Voice in 2013, How Not to Lie with Benefit Cost Analysis. Okay, this is a tongue-in-cheek paper that demonstrates that knowing how to lie provides insights into how not to lie. Okay, so we assume the former is always accidental among economists. I think that's tongue-in-cheek. A lot of times it's not accidental among economists. We hope it is so for others. We hope it is so for everybody. This is 1, 2, 3, just a 4, 5, short paper. So let's talk about all three of these except number, let's see, except number 2. I'm going to skip that. I've skipped the baseline all this time. That's what we lost. I was going to finally teach it in this semester, but I decided not to because of the hurricane. The classes we missed because of the hurricane. Let's see, slideshow. All right. So here's what the paper looks like online. All right, and just some introductory stuff. Why isn't it letting me fix this? Anyway. Okay, so the first lie, potential lie. Lie number 1. Be selective in your impacts and values. So the first thing you can do to create an analysis that is going to be biased is to make sure you slant the benefit or cost your way and argue against, dispute, or ignore those that go the other way. So if you are in favor of policy, you'll ignore some cost. If you're against a policy, you'll ignore some benefits. Okay? All right. So he says, if a safer channel to a port, so imagine a boat going to a port, and you want to dredge out a river so you can get to the port safer. That saves lives. What you would do is mention deaths avoided in the text, but don't attach a monetary value. Leave that thing, that value unmonetized or unquantified. Okay, so that effectively the contribution of that is 0. Okay, the second bullet point is pretty important, so let's just read it. If a regulation on the level of arsenic in drinking water also changes regulations on how much to clean up hazardous waste sites, ignore the law that links the 2 regulations and the corresponding cost and potential benefits. Okay, so this gets into the issue of co-benefits, and this has been a big issue in the Trump administration. Here's an article in, where was this published? I've already forgotten where, but I'll try to post this, link this on As You Learn. And the headline says, EPA's return to rigorous cost-benefit analysis continues with impending methane rule revision. And so what these the author here, Mark Robertson, is saying is that the EPA's movement away from including co-benefits in a regulatory impact analysis is a good idea. So co-benefit, in this case, there's a methane rule benefit cost analysis, but the methane rule also creates a lot of air quality improvements. And some people think you should include those air quality benefits in the methane rule. Those are called co-benefits. Some people say, well, because the rule isn't designed to generate air quality improvements, you don't include the co-benefits. Okay? So Scott Farrow, with this second bullet point, is saying that is one way to lie with benefit cost analysis. Ignore some benefits that happen as part of the regulation or the policy. Okay. And then, number 3, even better, focus only on one outcome, such as jobs or the environment. Okay, that's also ignoring co-benefits. Okay, how not to lie. Include all the impacts and values for which credible estimates exist and which seem potentially large enough to change an opinion. An opinion meaning whether you should pursue the regulation or not. Okay, no one is prescient enough, nor are there enough data to include everything. Okay, but see that the core elements are included in a reasonable way. Line number 2 was the one about looking at different baselines. We're skipping that. Number 3, count jobs entirely as a benefit. This is one thing that we have not been able to cover. We talked a little bit about economic impact analysis and how they generate estimates of jobs created by a policy. Okay, so this is my one opportunity to talk about how jobs should be included in a benefit cost analysis. Okay, so Farrow says, after you compute the benefits of the policy, such as those received by consumers, industry, and changes in government revenue. Okay, so this is the change in consumer surplus, the change in producer surplus, and changes in government revenue. And I would add here, and also the non-market values generated by an environmental regulation. Okay, in addition to all those things, also count as a benefit the number of employees and the amount that they will be paid. And then here's the tongue-in-cheek part. After all, labor is about 2/3 of all cost in the United States, and if you can count 2/3 of the cost as a benefit, then that gets you a long ways towards a positive net benefit. Okay, how not to lie. So this is how jobs should be included in a benefit cost analysis. So first of all, look at the unemployment rate. If the unemployment rate is at its natural rate, or decide whether or normal, all right. So okay, so this is like a decision tree. If the unemployment rate is at the natural rate, or if it's high, if there's high unemployment, then you go 2 different ways. If it's normal, then there's no additional benefit from new jobs created. Okay, the job created by building a bridge, or the job created by having someone cleaning up pollution. This is just taking labor effort away from another job. It's just jobs being moved around in the economy. And so the benefit is completely offset by the cost of a job being lost in another sector. Okay, so recent times, he's talking about, this was written probably at the tail end of the Great Recession, where there were high rates of unemployment. So maybe a bridge project would create some new jobs, and that could be a benefit. Okay, the incomes that are earned is a partial benefit, and that's because the wage a person requires to work might be different than let's see, the wage depends on the wage a person requires to work and their next best alternative. Okay, is what the baseline that they're talking about is. Okay, so let's say the person's earning $0, and if they would work for $1, you could get them off the couch and they'd be happy to work for $1. Then the entire wage that they're paid is what you could include as the benefit during their expected period of unemployment. Okay? If they're not going to work for anything less than $5 and you're paying them $10, okay, then the benefit would be the extra wage that you pay them to get them off the couch. Because if they won't work for anything less than $5, then the $5 is a measure of how much they are enjoying being unemployed, meaning they're enjoying their leisure. So it's the extra wage that you pay that you want to include as their benefit. Okay? And then you only want to include these extra wages as a benefit during the expected period of unemployment. Okay, if you think the person could be employed forever for some structural reason, then you can include their income as long as during the entire duration of their employment. But if they're going to get a job anyway in 6 months, and you give them a job in 2 months, then the benefit is only the extra wages for during the period that they would have actually been unemployed. So that would be the 4 months difference. So if they would have gotten a job in 6 months anyway, you gave them a job in 2 months, and they're earning above normal wages over those 4 months. Okay, so that's the simple logic of how to treat jobs in a benefit cost analysis. And then Farrow gives us this some guidance, a back-of-the-envelope approach on who will work for how much, suggests that about 50% of the wage for the duration of unemployment as a benefit in times of high unemployment is a good number to use. So there we go. Okay, line number 4, and this is one that I've tried to emphasize all semester. Line number 4, act as if a number is very certain. Be confident, be very, very confident in your benefit cost numbers. Okay, one way to do that is to report your estimates of benefits and cost, your impacts in small fractions, report your benefits and cost to some small amount, meaning the hundreds or tens of dollars, or go all the way and report the total in cents. Okay, so I've tried to be careful this semester about rounding to dollars. If the benefit estimate is $32,265,000, then we'd call that just 32 million. Okay, that's one way of conveying that our numbers are uncertain. Okay, third bullet point, don't worry about conveying uncertainty about the number. Okay, don't get bogged down in defining whether your number is 4 million average response, meaning that there's some statistical distribution around your average. So then how not to lie? Convey some measure of the accuracy of your measurements. Okay, so this is why I try to emphasize sensitivity analysis throughout the entire semester. Okay, so, and then second bullet point, when you present your estimates, try not to include all those extra digits, numbers in the extra digits. Just include a few significant digits like 32 million instead of 32,265,124 and 13 cents. Okay. Monte Carlo simulations convey uncertainty. Okay, you can do a bunch of what-if analyses, and so that's what we've been trying to do. Okay, and Farrell concludes by saying, there's neither side of any issue is always the bad guy in doing bad benefit cost analysis. And in his experience, he's seen bad benefit cost analyses from non-governmental organizations like nonprofits or industry groups, like nonprofits, and also industry groups and government agencies. We'll also try to shade the truth, meaning that I think we saw some of that in the Sustein lecture, where he makes it sound like government agencies tend to provide ranges of estimates and don't do the sensitivity analysis that we might need. Okay, and then this bullet point here, this is what we've been trying to do all semester. We're trying to have, we all want to be dedicated people who are concerned about truth-telling when you're doing the analyses. And this last part, I hope you've learned something this semester about how to read economic analyses and recognize when people are trying to shade the truth or lie, as Pharaoh says. So that's it for the semester. If y'all have any questions about today's lectures or the study guide, I'm going to try to be in class on Thursday. Sorry, I'm going to try to be in the office on Thursday. I've got a doctor's appointment at 9, and I'm giving blood at 10:30. So I'll be back in my office probably right before lunch, and I'll be around most of the afternoon.